Days after Vice President Venkaiah Naidu rejected the Congress's impeachment motion against Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra, now the BJP spokesperson and Supreme Court lawyer Gaurav Bhatia has filed a petition in the Supreme Court seeking action against lawyers. Congress social media head Divya Spandana for denigrating the judiciary. In his petition, Mr. Bhatia has cited unending tirade against the judiciary in the guise of the lawyer judgment. Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra has agreed to list the petition next week. Remember, Congress leaders had alleged that the Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra is allotting cases arbitrarily and giving specific judges were recorded specific cases just seeking his impeachment. Thank you. I want to connect to my colleague Anusha Soni, who's joining me live with more details. Anusha, get us up to speed with this petition filed by the BJP leader.
So, Preeti, as you pointed out, political aspersions and the political controversy allegations have been flying in the Supreme Court. Now, post the lawyer judgment in which Supreme Court dismissed all the petitions and pleas to have a special inquiry into the death of Judge Loya, who was hearing the Sohrabuddin encounter trial, a political war has erupted. Now, the Congress, especially the social media wing, has gone out and criticized that judgment. The argument of Gaurav Bhatia, who is also the BJP spokesperson, is that certain untoward remarks and certain remarks which may be contemptuous in nature are being made against the judge and the judiciary. This was a brief mentioning which was done today at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, and the Chief Justice of India did not respond much to it, but he said next week we will take up this petition. Now, on one hand, Preeti, is the Congress moving the impeachment motion, with the centre trying to save the Chief Justice of India's office, dismissing that impeachment motion. On the other hand, you have petitions like this coming at the apex court, and let's not forget, KM Joseph is not elevated to the Supreme Court. Many argue a direct interference of the executive into the judiciary, and Preeti, this is the second one as far as the Modi government's tenure is concerned. The earlier one was of Gopal Subramaniam when he was being elevated to the Supreme Court, and that recommendation wasn't cleared by the centre.
All right, thank you, Anusha, for joining us. We're going to come back to you for more updates on that story. Meanwhile, the centre has cleared the appointment of senior advocate Indu Malhotra for appointment as Supreme Court judge. She will be the first senior woman advocate to get an elevation as Supreme Court judge. The Supreme Court Collegium had recommended Indu Malhotra's name, which has been accepted by the government. But there is still no word on the elevation of Justice KM Joseph, Chief Justice of Uttarakhand High Court. Meanwhile, former Finance Minister Mr. Chidambaram expressed disappointment on Justice KF Joseph's appointment being on hold. He said on Twitter, and I quote, "What is holding up Justice KM Joseph's appointment, his state or his religion or his judgment in the Uttarakhand case?" He added that as the law stands now, the recommendation of the Supreme Court Collegium is final and binding in the appointment of judges. Is the Modi government above the law? Remember, KM Joseph, as Chief Justice of Uttarakhand High Court, had revoked the centre's order to put the state under President's rule. All right, let me once again connect to my colleague Anusha, who's getting us the very latest in this development as well. You know, Anusha, it's rather interesting because this entire debate over the executive interfering in the judiciary now only peaking with the appointment of Indu Malhotra. All right, we're going to try and connect to my colleague Anusha, but that's the latest that we are getting in right now. And it's interesting how things are panning out, because it does seem that the entire debate of the executive interfering in the judiciary is still not dead, even though the Vice President has turned down the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice of India. The Congress, on the other hand, will approach the High Court. But having said that, a new bone of contention now appearing in the form of senior lawyer Indu Malhotra being recommended by the Supreme Court Collegium as the next Chief Justice of India. However, it is Justice KM Joseph whose appointment has come into question, or the deferred appointment as such. All right, let's shift focus. The Trump administration is planning to bar spouses of H-1B visa holders to work legally in the United States. According to reports from agencies, influential American lawmakers and representatives of the IT industry, including Facebook, have opposed the Trump administration's newly changed H-1B visa norms. In a report signed by top IT firms, Google, Facebook and Microsoft, they've said rescinding this rule and removing tens of thousands of people from the American workforce would be devastating to their families and would hurt our economy. It is a move which will have an impact on more than 70,000 H-4 visa holders who have work permits in the US. Remember, in 2017 as well, there were protests against Trump administration's travel policy, where protesters took to streets holding banners.
Are you willing to...
I want to connect to my colleague Geeta Mohan, who's joining us live for more details on the story. Geeta, you know, this could have far-reaching implications and ramifications, especially where the Indians working in America are concerned. Geeta, can you hear me? All right, we're going to try and connect to Geeta, but that's the latest that we are getting in. Of course, protest over the travel ban by the Trump administration, which especially where India is concerned, it will have far-reaching impact. To put the story into perspective, the Trump administration is planning to bar spouses of H-1B visa holders to work legally in the United States. Now, according to reports from agencies, influential American lawmakers and representatives of the IT industry, including Facebook, have opposed the Trump administration's newly changed H-1B visa norms. So protest rife. I want to connect to our foreign affairs editor. All right, we don't have Geeta right now. We're going to try and get that later. All right, let's get you the latest coming in from Karnataka. The Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has attacked the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj over the United States' newly changed H-1B visa norms. In a scathing tweet, Siddaramaiah questioned Sushma, and I quote, "Denying spouses of H-1B visa holders in the US the permission to work is not fair. Techies from Karnataka are affected by this. Since Bengaluru is home to a large number of US expatriates, should their spouses have a free ride here?" With the tweet, Siddaramaiah questioned the Modi government's US policy, asking what it was doing to safeguard the livelihoods of Indians in the United States. Moving on, major success for security forces in Jammu and Kashmir is thrall. Mufti Yasir, a top operational commander of Jaish-e-Mohammed, has been killed along with 3 other JEM terrorists. Mufti Yasir was a close aide of Jaish-e chief Maulana Masood Azhar. A joint operation was carried out by the Rashtriya Rifles, State Police and the Central Reserve Police Forces. All this took place at the Lam forest area of Thrall after receiving a tip-off about the presence of terrorists there. This is a second big blow to Masood Azhar's Jaish after its Jammu and Kashmir chief Mufti Waqas was killed on March 5th. Getting us up to speed with the development, Shuja Haq joining me on the phone line. Shuja, can you get us the latest, please?
Well, yes, Preeti, it seems to be a big success for the security forces. The encounter that had taken place 2 days back in Thrall area, in which 4 militants were killed. Now the forces say that after identification, it has been proven that one of the militants was a close aide of Jaish chief Masood Azhar. He is believed to be the operational commander in the state of in the valley of Jaish-e-Mohammed, and his killing is certainly a big blow to the outfit. We are, still getting more details, but in the face of it, it does seem like a major success for the anti-militancy operations in the valley.
So, of the JEM top aide who's been killed. All right, we seem to have lost Shuja. We're going to try and get in more information. Let's move on in the bulletin meanwhile. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi will arrive in China later today for an informal meeting with President Xi Jinping as efforts at rapprochement gather pace following the testing air and ties between the two countries. Beijing is laying the red carpet for the Prime Minister by breaking all past protocols in organizing an unprecedented informal summit at Wuhan city, which President Xi Jinping has never done for any foreign leader. Sources have told India today that there are going to be no joint statements or signing of agreements after the meeting between the Prime Minister and Xi Jinping. Experts suggest that the Wuhan summit is being organized to give both leaders an informal atmosphere to have a wide-ranging conversation without a set agenda and lay the blueprint for the next 100 years and to move past Doklam.
I think the 1988 visit by Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi broke the ice in relations between China and India. Prime Minister Modi's visit will be again a very important landmark visit. Why? Mainly because both China and India have changed a great deal over these years, and both of us are faced with important challenges and tasks. And the summit meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping will most likely cement the friendship between China and India and will bring to a new height the relations between our two countries.
据我们了解，莫迪总理到过中国一些城市，比方说像北京啊，像这个南方中国南方的广东啊，中国西部的这个西安呐。 还有这个上海附近的像杭州啊。
What is in store as Prime Minister Modi heads to the Yangtze River in Wuhan in central China? This is going to be unprecedented on many levels. 2 days of informal summitry, which China never does, between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi. Informed sources tell India today that everything is on the table. It is going to be a free-ranging, freewheeling discussion, and the aim is to correct the dangerous slide in relations with ties plummeting last year amid the Doklam standoff. But whether Modi and Xi can reverse the trend still remains to be seen. Reporting for India today here in Beijing, China, this is Anand Krishna.
Meanwhile, the CBI team will leave for London today for a hearing in the Vijay Mallya extradition case last month. After the arguments by both sides, the case was postponed for yet another hearing scheduled tomorrow. Now, the lead by a special director, the CBI team will leave for London and return on the 28th after the hearing. The bulk of arguments and evidence have been already presented in court by India over the past 4 months. Remember, India is seeking for Mallya's extradition for defaulting on the rupees 9,000 crore worth of loans taken by the Kingfisher Airlines alleged conspiracy.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.